He is risen.
He is risen indeed.
This was the mission. And for some of you, this was a new experience. And for those like myself, I think this must be the 5th time I've seen it or something. And the first time that our girls watched it all the way through. And then we're trying to figure out at the end why we would have them watch such a deeply sad movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question. Any insights this time around while you were, or discoveries?
Well, I was going to ask you how you felt like it held up after 5 viewings.
Yeah. I've read a lot of reviews of this movie, and some have thought that it's, cinematic, maybe a little clunky, cinematic but clunky or something like that. Or it's kind of buckles under its own weight, or where's the story? And I have to confess, I can't find myself to those critiques. I think the story is clear. It does go in chapters.
Mm-hmm.
I think the heart of the film, the more I see it, is the relationship between these people, the main characters, and the Guarini people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bond that we care actually most about at the end. Even though the way in which that bond gets expressed, either through pacifistic, pastoral care and leading them in peace against the enemy or in fighting against the enemy, the point is, I think, that there's a bond of love that has been established there that's larger than the church, certainly larger than the state.
Yeah.
And this is what makes this movie so just crushingly disappointing, is how the crown and the cross get all tied up together in a really gross way.
Yeah. I did want to say that, I know this sounds funny, but I didn't really fully see. I think this is the 3rd time I've watched it, but I didn't really catch, for some reason, how important it is that, Mendoza has captured their people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're afraid of him, and he's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back completely crushed and in pieces and humiliated to them, to the people that he took everything from. He took brothers and fathers and without a thought.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of landed really hard that he, climbed this mountain with this load on his back and found himself confronted with the people that he had so deeply wronged.
Yeah. I think part of that that's sort of distracting is that he's doing penance, so he's carrying the implements of his warfare, shields and armor and swords and so forth, and carrying it up this hill, and somehow that's supposed to atone for his sins. But I actually think that the much stronger image here is it's the Guarini that set him free by cutting the ropes and letting the pile go down. And it's a gesture of forgiveness. Now, Jay Young thinks that it happened a little too quickly, and he might be right on that, but might be a pushover. But I find that conversion, or that scene, one of the strongest images of the release of one's sins.
Yeah.
Perhaps one of the more powerful ones.
Yeah.
And then this time I noticed this scene, which also mentioned the Guarini. And it's the scene when they're in the room after Mendoza has made a too hot chili for them to eat. And I'm struck by this because they laugh at him, remember, because he's a bad cook. And Laura Fizzle mentions in her post that his pride was of such early on in the movie that he can't stand the idea that people would be laughing at them. Here they're just laughing at him because he made it.
That's a good point, Laura.
And he blows it off. But then notice what happens when he says thank you to Gabriel for helping him.
Thank you, Lord, for our food and all your other blessings. Amen. Oh, good Lord. Did you cook this?
Yes.
Did you put in all the chilies?
I'm afraid I did. I'm sorry. I was trained as a mercenary, not as a cook.
This is true. It's dreadful. But the bread is good.
The bread's not part. Father, I want to thank you for having me here.
You should thank the Guarani.
How?
Read this.
I find that so striking. This is the first time I've seen that where he says, "Thank you, Gabriel." But he says, no. This is not about me. This is about the Guarini and how they have accepted you back.
Yeah.
You, a murderer and an enslaver. And then more profoundly is, what's the mode of thanksgiving? Read the Gospel of John. Learn how to really love in return. Isn't that a powerful?
Yeah.
And then the montage that comes after that is him practicing over time habits of love for people who he used to enslave. It has to be one of the most profound sort of topsy-turvy moments in movies where the captive and the captor the roles are reversed.
Yeah.
And he is now the person who is made captive to Christ in this beautiful montage of images. Anyway,
Very good.
that was a striking image. Let's talk about the wine.
Gosh, I didn't love it. No, I didn't love it. It didn't do what I was hoping it was going to do. It was a Malbec. I was hoping that it would be intense. I was looking for an intense wine to pair with this intense movie. And it didn't strike me as very intense. The first couple drinks I thought, well, this might do something interesting. But then as it got kind of exposed to oxygen, it really mellowed. So maybe that's a good, I don't know, maybe that's a good corollary, but it was not everything I hoped it would be, but still enjoyable.
Tell us about the region.
It was from Mendoza, Argentina. Don't have anything else to say about that.
Oh.
No.
Except that the main character's name was Mendoza.
Right.
Boom.
Right.
A little boring from our side of things.
Say what you learned about Malbec.
Oh, well, Malbecs were originally from France, but there was a massive frost in the 18th century, and it killed off most of the Malbec grapes. And the ones that survived actually were ones that had been transported to Argentina. And so now they're the place that, if you think Malbec, you think Argentina, South America. But there are still Malbec grapes in France, Côte, and a few others, which are known to be quite good, but more subtle, not as kapowy and intense as a Mendoza Malbec would be. So this week, we're keeping something of the intensity up, but we are making a strident move forward to the modern period. We're going to see a sports movie. We're going to see what redemption looks like in a modern idiom. And I'm excited to announce our next movie is Creed. I hope you've seen it, but if you haven't, now's your chance. I believe it's running on Prime for $2.99 this week. And what's our wine?
Our wine is, and very interesting, not intentional. This is also from Mendoza, Argentina. So kind of fun.
Oh, this will be interesting.
Yeah. So try the Malbec varietal, and then this is a Cabernet Sauvignon. It is from Muscota Vineyards. Dark Bat is the name of the wine. I chose a $17.99. I went to Total Wine and More today and I said, give me a red wine that is just going to punch me in the face. And they said, this is it right here. So $17.99 at Total Wine and More. Cabernet Sauvignon, Muscota Vineyards, 2018, Dark Bat.
Get ready to get punched. This is the week. We'll see you guys on the other side.